How old is he?
27, I think.
No, it doesn't
What?
matter.
It doesn't
We
matter.
just said
27, I think.
Is he 27?
He's 27.
He can't be 27. Did you just say he's 23? That's a kid. 27. No, 27, but that's a child.
I'm going to need someone to tell me what happened to Andile and Kanye. I really liked them on the show. Andile was the voice of reason. So missing him tells you that Netflix is about to take this show down a messy, toxic path. And I'm here for the mess. The fact that you had people questioning the age of Zari's husband. Yes, everyone has the right to question it. 5 years is, it's a bit questionable. It really is questionable because how he's 5 years older than her oldest child. And so how will he stand up as the man of the house? Yes, her vow said she's going to respect him, but side eye. And Lewis's latest girl, oh my God. How does he go from Fantana to Fantana's mom? Make that make sense? Anyway, hey there. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Young, Famous and African Season 3, Episode 1. Say that I'm sorry for the late review. Work has been work and life has been lifing. I'm a bit nervous about this season because Andile is not here. Andile is left, and Andile left the moment it became messy, and which is really sad because I really loved Andile. And sadly, this episode, sadly, it is starting with Zari. For me, I've never been a Zari fan. I've never been a Zari stan, so I really don't know how I feel that they've sort of decided to sort of upgrade her. Normally the season starts with Kanya, and so I'm surprised that Kanya is not here. I would have loved to see her. Anyway, so we have, Annie arrive from Nigeria. She is not in a good space with everyone. Last season, she was fighting with Swanky. So this season, I really hope it's not as toxic as it was for her last season. We have Nadia. Nadia meets up with Fantana and they go to the wedding because Zari is getting married. She's already told us she's getting married. She's found the love of her life. And I was just on the socials, and apparently her husband is 7 years older than her eldest child. And it's like, that's a bit messy. In my opinion, I prefer someone be older than me. I would rather not, stoop down just because the level of maturity for guys takes a bit longer. So we have them sort of chatting, Fantana and Nadia, and they're talking about the fact that, Diamond had a girlfriend. And it's like, Diamond, I don't think had a girlfriend. Diamond had girlfriends. And so sadly for Fantana, she just joined the cohort of his girlfriends, just like Nadia at one point joined the cohort of his girlfriends. So I can't wait to see what happens there. Lewis is going to the wedding. He says he doesn't trust anyone, so he's a bit nervous about going to the wedding. It seems everyone is surprised that they've been invited to this wedding because it seems they're not in a good space, and it seems most of them are not in the best of books. We know Zari and Annie don't get along, and now with Fantana they don't get along because Fantana revealed some secrets. They were not in a good space with Nadia, so it's really interesting to see that she's invited people that she doesn't get along with. And my money is on she invited them because she wanted Netflix to film the wedding, and in order for them to do it, these are the main characters, or these are the main characters on the show. She came in as a result of her being Diamond's baby mama. That's how she came onto the show, and so she came in through the back door. So she's not the same as people like Nadia who've been there from day one. We have DJ Naked and Kayleigh. They've moved in together. They really look cute. So I can't wait to see them. And also Swanky is ready for the wedding, and I'm wondering why everyone is wearing white. If they're wearing white, what color is the bride wearing? One thing about the cast of Young, Famous and African is they're going to show up and show out. Anyway, so you have everyone arrive at the wedding venue. So they had the cast sort of sit somewhere and sort of have a chitty chat before they attended the ceremony. So first to arrive, you had, Fantana arrive with Nadia, and then you had DJ Naked arrive, but he said Kayleigh was helping, Zari get dressed. You had Swanky arrive. He was in a great mood. And then you had Lois. So everyone was surprised they were all invited to this wedding. I think the only person who wasn't surprised is this Naked. I think everybody else was surprised. So they were all questioning whether Annie was coming. Eventually Annie arrives and they were all friendly. I think they were putting on appearances because they're at somebody's wedding. So they didn't want to, kick off. But then the comments start about the groom and how old is the groom. And it's like, I get where Annie's coming from. Everybody else is playing naive, but but everybody else is questioning it. Because if he's 27 years old and her oldest is 22, it's a bit oxcalo. It's a bit oxcalo because how does he discipline or how does he have an opinion about what's happening with her children if they come and there is a problem? How does he do that? Because they're more or less like brothers. Let's be for real. Let's be for real. There's a 5-year gap. They could be siblings. And, she could be their mom, all of them. Yeah, she would be a very young mom, a teen mom, but still she could have been all their moms. And so the older son comes and tells everyone that, it's time for them to wrap it up and go to the reception. And it's like, the producers are messy. They are messy. For using the eldest son to sort of go and tell them to sort of wrap it up, it's messy. Given the fact that Nadia was just telling Annie to sort of pipe down when she was talking about the age difference, it's messy because it then shows that, this is the son and this is the husband. And you stand them side by side and they look like siblings. They really do. Zari looks like their mother. So it's a bit oxcalo. Anyway, this DJ Naked goes to have a chat with Shakib, who is, Zari's husband-to-be, and he is nervous. He's anxious about the fact that, she's got this relationship with Diamond. He says he's a musician, he's in minerals, he's a car salesman, he's a trainee boxer, and it's like this guy is just looking for his come up. He is looking for his come up. And given the fact that all the fathers, Zari's got 5 children, all their dads are these mega rich people, I don't get how he wouldn't feel intimidated, especially with her relationship with Diamond. Because you were saying, they're always lovey-dovey around each other. And it's like, Zari needs to set boundaries. Naked saying that, I feel like Zari is someone where if she's finished with someone, she's done, she moves on, she doesn't go back. He's just saying that to console this guy. But the truth is, you can tell that, Zari still has feelings for Diamond. She really does. We've seen that time and time again because every time Diamond sort of entertains a relationship with anyone, Zari kicks off. She kicked off about Nadia. She kicked off about Fantana. And I can bet you if she were to see someone else, she would kick off irregardless of the fact that she is getting married to somebody else. So I can't wait to see what happens with this, with this relationship. This cast won't kill me. They really want to kill me because I really am done with them, especially Annie. Annie is messy. She is messy at its finest. Anyway, so you have, everyone sat down and then the groom comes out. And when he comes out, and he's like, oh my God, he's very young. He's very young. And I want to pinch her and say, Annie, keep quiet. But she is right to sort of question because she said, he's young. He looks like just one of her children because he looks around, the same age as them. In her confessional, she says, this is challenging because he's an age mate to her children, which I have already said he is because she's got 2 children, I think, in their 20s. So it doesn't make sense why she would marry a 27-year-old. He looked nervous as hell. I think he saw this as his come up, so he's decided to latch himself onto Zari. Yes, the guys were right to say, he's got a crush on her and maybe he's got this idea. I think it was Swanky who said, he's got this idea that he's marrying the woman of his dreams because it doesn't make sense how she would marry someone younger than her and is younger than her by at least a good 17 years. And it's like, make that make sense. That myth and mathing. You have, poor Nadia is trying to silence Annie. Keep quiet. Because Annie's going on about this age thing. Yeah, it is a big deal to some people. I would never date someone who's younger than me. I just don't have the bandwidth for that. Well, I should never say never because you never know what the future holds. But still, it's a bit challenging when you have children that are almost the same age as your husband or as your boyfriend. She comes out, she looks amazing. She really did look amazing. But then I was surprised that none of her children walked her down the aisle. I would have expected one of her children to walk her down the aisle. She had Diamond's children sort of be one of the, the ring bearer and the mini bride. And they both looked cute, although the girl looked like she was struggling in her dress. And they said their vows, and I don't know. Maybe with time, after seeing this guy, he will grow on me. But something about him is a bit off. He looks way too young. He looks like he's out of his depth. And it's surprising that we got him to sit down with his DJ Naked, but we didn't get to see any of his family. Is it because Netflix is only going for people that actually are the main cast? Because at the end of the day, Zari, although she calls herself boss lady, only came in on the back of Diamond. The fact that she was Diamond's baby mama is the reason why she's on the show. They exchanged their vows, and that was cute. But then the interesting thing is, before the wedding started, you had this lady who was the officiant, and turns out she is dating Lewis, and she's friends with Zari. So you had Nadia saying, oh, these little boys are going for the, good-looking woman with the apple bottom or whatever. And it's like, seriously, make it make sense. How did this guy go from liking Fantana to suddenly liking someone who looks like she's Fantana's mom? I didn't quite get that. I really didn't get that, and I was as confused as hell, but hey, that's just me. The producers of Young, Famous and African must think we're really idiots. Seriously. Because we barely got to see the family. We didn't see the bride's family. We didn't see the groom's family. And I feel like the only reason why this bit of the wedding was included actually is because the rest of the cast were there. Otherwise, we would never have seen it. And I'm surprised Kanya isn't there. Has she left the show? I actually need to Google it and find out. Anyway, the reception was chaos central. For example, the fact that you had Fantana sat at the end of the table with a placard for Diamond didn't make sense to me. It really didn't make sense. And it's embarrassing. Why invite her to your wedding and then humiliate her like that? That I didn't like. You had, Kefilwe, a new cast member, come in. She looked amazing. She really did. But I don't know whether she's enough to sort of replace Kanya. I don't know whether Kanya's been taken out because of her fight with Andile. I don't know what happened there. I really liked her. So you have Nadia sort of saying, oh, I don't know whether Frankie knows that I also know Kefilwe. She's also my friend, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, this is about to be messy. This is about to be messy. You have the bride upset saying that, I hate that Swanky always brings a +1. And it's like, where did you expect the new member of the cast to be introduced? It was going to be at your wedding. And you need drama at your wedding in order for Netflix to show it. And I feel like this is why you had the announcement by Lewis. This is why you had the Annie speech, because that was all to sort of bring ratings and make it more interesting. Otherwise, had the cast gone there and behaved themselves, the producers would have skipped it out because there's nothing for fans to really like. The fact that you had Lewis asking everybody to ululate because he said that, this shows that you're at a wedding, and you had Annie was really participating. I have to give Annie credit where credit is due. She said a couple of shady things, a couple of messy things, but still she's actually participated and seemed very happy. Not, Fantana looked like somebody had dragged her there and she didn't want to be there, which was interesting to watch. And then you also had, Nadia, I don't know how she's feeling. Kayleigh is only there because of DJ Naked. If DJ Naked says he wants to leave, she's not there. So she's only there as a supporting act because she's his girlfriend and she's part of his storyline. So she really doesn't matter. When Annie stood up, my heart was pounding because I was thinking, what is she going to say? What is she going to say? I hope she doesn't say anything embarrassing. The fact that Annie appreciated the invitation doesn't mean that she's good friends with the boss lady. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. She's just showing appreciation for that. She did explain that Zari and I have had a very complicated relationship, and I appreciate you for inviting me. I love love, which is amazing. I am someone who loves love. I always root for love. This is why I like to see the positive side of things. And so for Annie to stand up and to say that was amazing. Nadia to say, oh, how can she say that after she was shading the wedding? You can have more than one opinion about something. You can have more than one opinion about something. I think people are always messy. I think they're always trying to see the bad in Annie and call her, the bad guy because of her reputation with the media. But I think she's actually a very sweet person, and I wish people would give her the opportunity to show that sweet and vulnerable side of herself. And maybe, we'd get somewhere. After all, they all don't like each other. They're all calling each other shady and messy and tacky. So I can't wait to see what happens. So you have Diamond and DJ Naked meet up, because at the wedding you had, DJ Naked actually asking, where is Diamond? Where is Diamond? Why is he not here? He should be here. And it's like, who wants their ex at their wedding? Would he go to his ex's wedding? He needs to be for real. Anyway, they meet up because, Naked said he's been trying to get in touch with Diamond and Diamond hasn't been responding. So, he's just wanted to catch up with him. They meet up at the barber's, and you have, Naked asking, why didn't you come to the wedding? And Diamond says, I wasn't invited. Apparently he and, Zari were having back and forth over social media. And it's like, this is petty. I agree with him that it's unacceptable for people with children to be carrying their beef over to social media, because your children will grow up at some point and they will see that. And how do you expect them to react? Apparently Zari said he was cancelled from the family. I think she was upset with him because she always thought thought she could control him and contain him, irregardless of who he was seeing. So the idea that he went behind her back and was busy gossiping with Fantana and telling Fantana, details about her that she didn't want out there, I think is the reason why she decided to go to social media. And so for Naked to sort of say to Diamond, oh, you are still in love with, how do you know he's still in love with Zari? How do you know? That Diamond said he can have her at the click of his fingers? Wow. So you have Kayleigh go and meet up with Boss Lady, and it seems everyone, if they are not talking about Annie, they have nothing to talk about. That's the impression that I get. If no one is talking about Annie, they have nothing to talk about, because you have this conversation about Annie. Was she genuine when she stood up? I was surprised that she actually came. I was surprised that, she actually gave a speech. I don't know how genuine that was. And it's like, well, she made an effort to come. You have to give her that, because she's one of the lead characters on this show. So if she hadn't come, chances are you might not have got as much of screen time as you got from Netflix. They might have just maybe shown pictures or whatever. So they needed big names in order for them to film your wedding. So she came, she did her speech, take it for what it is. I'm happy that they both agreed that, she is a nice person deep down, and they want to give her an opportunity to see if there's anything there. Well, Zari said she's open to sort of exploring a friendship with Annie, which I hope they do. I hate how Annie is being painted as the villain in this show. I really hate that. You have, Nadia go and meet up with Kayleigh to say she wants to give her a heads up about everyone, and she's talking badly about Annie. And it's like, Nadia, can we just have a season where we talk about you as a person and not everybody else, and sort of not letting your storyline be attached to somebody sort of in a negative way? You've never had, outside of her dating Diamond in season 1, or her dating that guy that we never saw, we really haven't got to know that much about Nadia. I would love for Nadia to tell us more about her story, to learn more about her as a person, as compared to her just being meeting up with people for gossip sessions. I'm surprised she only talked about Annie. Why didn't she talk about Zari? Because we all know that Zari has a problem with anyone she thinks is going to be a leading character or is going to outshine her. So I can't wait to see that. You have, Fantana meet up with Annie, and they're having a back and forth. Well, they're having a gossip session, and you have Fantana saying, I'm going to go back to Swanky and tell him everything. And it's like, why? I get where Annie's coming from, in the sense that she says that she feels some type of way about the fact that Swanky made an allegation without proper evidence. If he does have it, then he needs to back it up. The problem is Annie has children. And because she has children, she has to be mindful of the reputation she's creating for herself, because she says her child was bullied at school by, not at school, but was bullied by other people saying, why did your mom treat Swanky like that? Why did your mom do A, B, C, D, F, G? I hope she has a conversation with Netflix and sort of tells them what's acceptable to her as a mother and what's not acceptable to her as a mother. That way she doesn't get painted in this light that she's not able to sort of wash away. We know she had a career in Nollywood before she came to Young, Famous and African, unlike some people that we barely know what they did before they came onto the show. So I hope she's mindful of that, and she does always sort of prioritize herself and her mental well-being. It was interesting that all they did was vent. Fantana was right to say that it was just a vent session. I wish Fantana wouldn't go back and sort of report to Swanky what was said and allow these two people to address their issues alone. This is the reason why you had Andile nearly walk out last time before, Kanye disrespected him. The fact that Annie and Swanky were fighting, and I hate that it seems like it's going to be a storyline again this season, which is really sad. So Kayleigh decides to host an event just so she can meet up with everyone, because already she's been given a debriefing by Nadia. So she's on the edge of her seat. She can't wait to see everyone. The first person to arrive is Annie, and they really hit it off with Annie. One thing about Annie is she's always been receptive to people when they join the group. She's never made anyone feel uncomfortable. So I have to give her that. And Nadia then arrives and it kicks off. I personally didn't like the way it kicked off. I really didn't. I felt like Nadia came in ready for war, and as soon as she sat down, she started having a go at Annie, which I don't think was called for. I think she should have waited until they'd sort of settled down and there was someone to act as a buffer, someone that knows the two of them, because Kayleigh is new to the group. She barely knows anyone. So the idea that Nadia would feel comfortable enough to bring her into this doesn't make sense. For Nadia to try and call her out and say, well, you called me out at, Zari's wedding, so I'm calling you out here. And it's like, why is Netflix always after the drama? We barely get to see these people do anything. We don't see them promote their businesses or their careers or anything. All we always see is them meeting up at event after event after event. This was the first time we saw Zari at her house. I don't even know whether it's her house or whether it's one of her children's houses. It didn't make sense how tiny it looked. And so I'm side-eyeing Nadia as much as I like her. I'm side-eyeing her because I don't think this was the time and the place, because this girl is new to the group. And I love that Kifilo said, you warned me about everybody else, but you didn't warn me about yourself because you're just as messy as the rest of the group. You're just as toxic, which is the point. It is the point. She's just as toxic. Nadia's just as bad as the rest of the group. The only thing is she's able to sort of swindle her way out of whatever mess she finds herself in, whereas everybody else, people like Annie, become very emotional. And so Nadia's able to stand on business and not cry and continue to stand up for herself. And I wish, if nothing else, people like Annie learned from this. But then Annie's an actress, she's been acting for years and years and years, so she knows what she's doing. So I can't wait to see what happens in the next episode. Thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and click on the link in my video to watch my review from last season, season 2. Bye guys.